deciding who makes the chase and who gets shut out. Pre-race story developing on pit road to Allen.
Well, Bill, sometimes to win a race, you need a little bit of luck, right? Tony Stewart been on a roll lately. A little bit of pre-race good fortune. On just moments ago on pit road, this is his crew changing a flat left rear tire on the Home Depot car. Better that that tire went flat sitting on the grid than before the car, say, rolled off and maybe on lap 1 or 2 caused a crash.
Wow.
That was a huge break to be able to. They all go around, they check those tires just before they start, and the fellow obviously found the left rear flat, and I guess Tony's got to go to the end of the line.
Yes, he does. Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR, is the proud sponsor of the Budweiser Pole Award given to the fastest qualifier at each NASCAR NEXTEL Cup race. Budweiser congratulates Jamie McMurray for this weekend's race and the latest Budweiser shootout eligible driver. And he was a little bit of a surprise grabbing the pole here yesterday. Take a look at the starting grid for today's 500-mile race.
He actually shocked himself.
Yes, he did. It's Jamie McMurray and Kurt Busch in row 1.
Back in row 2, Martin. Everyone talks about the 6 car being maybe really good. Ryan Newman on the outside.
Mark is always good here.
Greg Biffle, Brian Vickers in 4.
Check out row 5. There's Jimmy Johnson and Kevin Harvick. Could the winner come out of this road?
It certainly could. Johnson, the championship leader.
Great qualifying run for Scott Wimmer.
Yeah, and Schrader for that matter.
Row 7, Rusty Wallace looking for his 5th win here at Pocono, and Joe Nemechek in his Army Chevrolet.
Casey Kane, Jeremy Mayfield, teammates out in Abraham Motorsports, back in row 8.
Row 9, Jeff Burton and Scott Riggs.
Row 10, Jason Leffler and Dale Jarrett.
All right, Jeff Gordon got a long ways to go. Dave Blaney alongside.
Take a look at row 12. There's Bobby Labonte. He knows how to win here, and Michael Waltrip looking for a Pocono victory.
Michael Waltrip have to go to the rear of the field for a bend-up fender yesterday. Sterling Marlin, Jeff Green in row 13.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. and Kyle Busch. What happened? I missed everything yesterday. What happened to Michael?
He just unqualified, brushed the wall, and had to beat the fender out.
You know those bumps you were talking about in turn 2?
Yeah.
Exactly what happened.
Mike Wallace, Mike Garvey in row 16. Kyle Petty racing today, going on the charity ride tomorrow. He's right next to Mike Bliss.
Back in 18, Greg Sachs, P.J. Jones.
And as we take you through the rest of the field, let's update the situation. Dale Earnhardt Jr. way back there in row 19 with a car that has struggled all weekend. Tony Stewart will be able to hold on to his starting position because the tire simply went flat while the car was sitting there. There is no penalty from NASCAR.
Well, that's good news. Even better news.
Good news for that team, that's for sure. The rest of the guys would like to see him in the back. Here are the guys that didn't make the show. Waltrip, Sadler, Mears, and Carl Edwards all have to drop to the back of the field.
Let's see if we can get a hold of Ricky Rudd. Hey, Ricky, this is Wally up in the booth. You copy?
10-4, Wally, I got you.
All right, well, we know you're good here. You've won here, and you like these kind of racetracks. I think I'd like to get your thoughts on what your feelings over there about what they've done in turn 2.
Well, I'm not really sure what's going on over there. There was a bump there, a real severe bump that hasn't been there for years. It showed up here at the last race, and it's still there. They haven't done anything with the bump. Worked on it over there, but it's still a bad bump, and they've reworked the ripple strips over there to try to keep you off of them. But I really don't. I think we still got a problem over there. It needs to be addressed. Unfortunately, we got to deal with it today. But everybody's aware of it. Should be able to handle it.
Now, this place is so important to be good on a long run. Are you guys pretty good on long runs? Because that's what seems like you need here to win.
Yeah, you know, that's what it takes. We worked on it really hard in practice. Matt Back, everybody on the Motorcraft Tours team, Wood Brothers, they did a good job. We snuck up on it. You know, we didn't use a lot of camber to try to make the car work, and just kept working with combinations. And there in happy hour, I think we were 5th fastest before we did any qualifying runs. So I think we're set for a long run. We'll see. Time will tell. I hate making predictions, but I think we got a good car here today.
Good luck, Ricky. We will be watching.
Well, I say hello to my dad back home who's watching.
Ricky Rudd and the rest of the field getting ready to take the green flag here at Pocono. Field still behind the pace car. We'll step away. We come back. We'll go racing in the Pocono Mountains live on TNT. NASCAR flagmen Rick Monroe and Rodney Wise in control of the field. Super Chef Mario Batali waves the green. We're racing on TNT.
3 or 4 wide going down in there. Everybody pretty much staying in line on this start.
Jamie McMurray has led only 1 lap all season. That was under caution at Michigan. Kurt Busch takes them to the tunnel turn.
Biffle in the 16 car, Brian Vickers in 25, side by side. Going into turn 3, the slowest corner on the racetrack.
Kurt Busch leads lap 1.
Marty Snyder told us in the pre-race show that Jamie McMurray has set on 4 poles in NASCAR NEXTEL Cup in Busch Series, has never led the first lap. His record is still intact.
Here comes Tony Stewart inside of Ryan Newman. And Mark Martin looking hard at McMurray. There's Stewart in the 20, Newman in the 12.
Normally if you get up on inside a guy right here going into turn 2, it's pretty much your corner. The guy on the outside has got to just crack the throttle a little bit because you need the whole racetrack to get through turn 2 fast.
While you were vacationing in Colorado yesterday, Newman's one of the guys that said he really likes the track. He said it's what we got to race. That's what they put out there. That's what we got to attack.
And I'm so delighted these guys were able to get through that tunnel corner that first lap.
Nemechek on the high side of Jimmy Johnson.
That yellow car on the inside is Kyle Busch as he tries to work his way. That's Jeff Burton on the outside trying to get on the inside of Jeremy Mayfield.
Casey Kane is well off the pace here, having problems early. Marty.
Extremely slow, Bill, and he just came on the radio. The crew actually asked what's going on, and he didn't say anything. Then he did come on the radio and say, guys, I am so loose, I can't hang on to this car. Wally, we've talked about this before. You have to start these race cars so loose because at the end of the run, they get tighter the longer they run. So sometimes it is a handful at the beginning of a run.
But you know what, Matt, I was talking to some of those guys down there with the Dodge cars, and it's not like that with their cars. If their cars start out loose, they get real loose. It used to be you have to start a car out loose because as you burn the fuel off, the cars would start to push. Not so for the Dodges. They are very, very tough to get a balance on these cars. So we're not sure. I mean, a right rear tire could be going down a little bit. That can make the car loose all of a sudden. But these guys are really having a hard time with the Dodges finding that balance.
Oh, it's always on one side or the other.
Carl Edwards and Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the move. Edwards, after starting at the back of the field, up to 29th. Earnhardt Jr. up to 30th. How about Edwards, Alan?
Well, Bill, I talked with his crew chief, Bob Osborne, before the race. He said they were going to preach patience to Carl. They have a fast race car. They believe they can get to the front, but he said, we've got all day to do it. There's no sense putting the car in a bad spot and getting in a wreck trying to get there too quickly. We've got to pull at the reins on this young horse just a little bit at the start.
Kenseth in 17. Oh, with a 3 wide.
This is going to get ugly.
This is ugly is right.
Did he say they're trying to rein in Carl Edwards?
Yeah, that's right.
How do you do that?
Well, they might think they're accomplishing something, but I don't think they're going to get it done.
He was pumped up, wasn't he, before the race?
Man, he always is, though. Talking about Carl Edwards.
And working out with Burns probably helped his, strengthened his chances today. Burnsy.
Don't forget, before the Pikes Peak race yesterday, he was up in the mountains taking a 2-mile hike before he ever got started on that race out in Colorado. Full of energy.
Did you go with him?
I did. No way.
It's too high up to climb up there. Man, that high elevation gets me.
Kurt Busch, McMurray, Mark Martin, Tony Stewart, Ryan Newman up front on board with Edwards.
That's Robbie Gordon directly in front of him as he closes in. Man, he gets off that tunnel corner.
That's awfully fast through there.
Well, Kurt Busch had a good car last week and a lot of bad luck, but he's out front now. There's the pole sitter, Jamie McMurray, Matt Yoakum.
Took a big hit in the points last week in New Hampshire, hoping for a bigger change this week on the positive side. Now, he told me the car was tight on short runs. He was hoping by the end of a long run, though, the car would go the other way balance-wise, but it's already starting out on the tight side, running in second.
So Jamie McMurray gave up the lead early. Kurt Busch out front 500 miles at Pocono. We're just underway live on TNT. Look at our Wendy's race menu. We have Busch Series racing from St. Louis coming up on July 30th, 8 o'clock Eastern time. And 2 weeks from today, we'll be at the Brickyard for the Allstate 400. 2 o'clock Eastern time over on NBC. Then it's on to the Glen, and then Michigan on August 21st right here on TNT. The Wendy's race menu, lots of racing coming up, and it's going to heat up in August. Kurt Busch coming out of 3 to lead lap 9. In fact, he's led all 9 laps so far today, coming from the outside of the front row.
Almost has a 3-second lead on McMurray, but it looks like McMurray might be closing in just a tick. No, didn't gain anything that lap.
There's Mark Martin, and there's Tony Stewart. Through 1 and now down the Long Pond straightaway. And we'll head to turn 2.
That was the bumps you were talking about, Walter. Let's watch that 6 car go through there and see. You can tell just how bumpy it is.
Can't tell from that.
Nope,
that
not
angle.
at all.
Got to get a low angle, I think, or
maybe an onboard.
But it's bumpy back there.
It's rough.
Here's what Mark Martin said about the tunnel turn here at Pocono.
Well, you can't miss it. As long as you're going to make a lap, you're going to have to hit it. It's all right. It's hard to believe that it's there again. I can believe that it could be there for the first race, but it's kind of surprising for the second race. It's not that big a deal. I mean, it's a bump. Whoop-de-doo.
Whoop-de-doo.
Whoop-de-doo. There you go.
Old school, Benny.
Yes, old school.
Now on board with Ricky Rudd as he heads for 2.
Off the throttle. Let's see the car. Right there. And you had to play with the throttle off that corner, not able to just wham right back with the throttle. That takes time. That costs time around this racetrack.
And that will get worse as the tires wear more. That'll become more of a handful over there going through that bump in turn 2.
I thought Ricky had missed the corner up in 3, but I see now why. Kevin Harvick, 29, alongside of him, take the spot away.
Actually, Ricky's lost a couple of spots here in the last few laps.
How about the 29 car of Harvick, Dave?
Let's talk about driver concentration and how it can be broken by little things happening in the cockpit of that car. On lap 1, Kevin noticed that the radios were not working well. The crew was trying to fix the problem by communicating with each other. That was very distracting to Kevin, and he lost a position to Scott Wimmer. He's since gained that back.
That is very distracting when you're trying to concentrate on driving a race car and you hear all these people talking on the radio. It is.
Nemechek in that 01. Got around the 21. Fans, for a little extra excitement, take the Allstate Challenge now at NASCAR.com for your chance to win. Log on to NASCAR.com for more information about the Allstate Challenge. Kurt Busch continues to lead. McMurray, Martin, Stewart, and Newman the top 5. And you have to wonder, as good as the 97 car was last week, even with all of his problems, to come home and have a great second-place finish, how inspired that team and that driver would be coming in here today.
Yes, because Kurt Busch, this has been one of his favorite racetracks. And Bobby Labonte also been one of his better racetracks.
Yep.
Did not have a particular good qualifying run, but now he's running back in the 18th position, started 23rd. Marty, what's he saying to the crew?
BP, this is just what Bobby predicted. You saw the progression Bobby's made. He's picked up a few spots, and he told me before he got in the race car, trouble on the racetrack.
Mike Wallace around.
Easy.
Didn't hit anything.
And now the caution is out.
Worst position to be in when you got
You can, buddy. You're all clear.
driver's door pointing up the racetrack is the scariest thing for a race car driver.
And cars coming at you at 190 miles an hour.
Flat tire.
Flat tire, Mike said.
Left rear.
That's the first one.
You guys, you never hit anything.
Just don't tear apart, because if it tears apart, your day's over.
Losing a lap, what I want to know.
Yeah, you got to come in and change it, because if that tire comes apart, it's going to take the fender off.
Well, you saw that yesterday.
Yeah.
Like speed.
That extra lap.
And see, the pace car is not too far behind
Listen to me. Now listen to me good. We got to get to pit road, and we got to get this tire changed. And Blue.
There we see Mike up high. He knows he has a flat tire. He's trying to get the car slowed down, but very little control with a flat tire.
And the question is what caused the flat, right?
I would imagine he ran over something and punctured the tire.
I would think so, being the left rear.
You know what he needs to do now is
See, look at, it's already tearing the fender off.
Out there, parts and pieces starting to shred. Caution car heads for pit road. P.J. Jones stayed out to lead a lap. Kurt Busch will bring them to the green. A couple of guys took 2 tires, among them Dale Jarrett and Jeff Gordon. Green flag at Pocono.
That put Jarrett in 4th spot, Jeff Gordon in 7th spot.
And Carl Edwards up to 10th.
Which is probably not a bad move, because this early in the race, you've got only 15 laps on your tires. That's probably, if you're going to do it, now's a good time to do that.
Mark Martin, the 6th car, trying to get by Jeremy Mayfield. Mayfield was in 2nd spot. This is the battle, and Mark goes up in the 2nd.
Martin to 2nd into the tunnel turn. Oh boy, did you see that car bump?
Ryan Newman bouncing around in that 12 car in that bump you were talking about. Dave, what did they do on the 19 car? 2 tires?
They sure did, BP. He came into the pits 19th, came out 3rd with a 2-tire stop. They made a track bar and a wedge adjustment. The car wanted to spin out in the corners. Matt?
Martin's future, whether he'll come back next year or not, is uncertain, but right now he's got a great race car trying to get his first win here at Pocono. The car just a tick loose on exit. They made an air pressure adjustment to try to fix that. They feel like they are going to have the best shot to get to victory lane. In fact, a number of people in the garage here this morning picked the 6 as the car to beat. Right now, he looks like it running in 2nd.
Jimmy Johnson back in 32nd. Allen.
Well, Jimmy Johnson came down pit road, Bill, just outside the top 10. They started to make a chassis adjustment on his car. When crew chief Chad Canal saw the other teams going for 2 tires, he figured they were going to give up a bunch of track position anyway, so he had Jimmy hold in the pit box for a second. They went ahead, took the time to make a 2nd chassis adjustment. That's why Jimmy's way back there now. Marty?
Alan, it was an eventful caution period for Casey Kane. He had an extremely loose race car, so they made a ton of chassis adjustments on the 9 car. Then they figured out why the race car was loose. He came down and they found a flat right rear tire, only 10 pounds of air left in the right rear tire for Casey Kane. So what they did, they came down pit road a 2nd time and undid half the adjustments that they made on the first stop, trying to get that car a little bit better. He restarted 40th, still back in the pack.
Oh, man, trouble.
Those are teammates, aren't they?
41, Casey Mears into the side of the 40 car on Sterling Marlin. And you're right, yes, they are teammates.
Jeff Green in the 43.
He's not a teammate.
No,
though.
he's not. But he's on the move.
Yeah, Casey's going to have to just get out of that.
Do you want to make a point?
No, I was just talking earlier. Remember, we talked about Casey at the beginning of the race, that it could be a right rear going down. If a car goes loose that fast, there's something wrong with more than just chassis.
Dave, how about Mears?
Well, his complaint on the first run was that the car was real rear-endy. He used another word, but the car in the back just wanted to spin out every time. Very, very loose race car in the 41. And, of course, that's what happened on his qualifying lap, too, on turn 3.
Travis Quapple.
77 brushes the wall off of turn 3.
Not the last guy to do that today. No. Elliott Sadler in the 38.
Trying to work his way towards the front.
Looking inside of Sterling Marlin. See Jeff Green is falling back a little bit there.
Oh, Jeremy Mayfield, he's going downward.
2 tires.
I guess they just all got track position on him, and when he backed up, they all went by. Here comes Carl Edwards trying to get by.
I don't think this will be too much of a challenge. Rusty Wallace right behind in the 2, then Brian Vickers. These guys are racing like it's 10 to go.
I'm telling you, Rusty Wallace, I thought was going to look inside the 99, but good horsepower in the Carl Edwards car. He pulled away from Rusty Wallace.
There's McMurray, the pole sitter, inside of Nemechek.
What's going on with the 19 car, guys?
Wow, Nemechek way up there.
Joe saving it up there in the marbles. Behind him, Jeremy Mayfield in the 19. He just said, guys, the car is way, way loose. It's that spin-out thing we've been talking about. Very hard to control here at Pocono.
Here comes Carl.
Finally able to get by Jeremy Mayfield in the 19 car.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. runs 33rd on the racetrack right now. Back there with Kane. Kurt Busch up front. Mark Martin, Ryan Newman, Dale Jarrett, and Tony Stewart.
I just think if you've got a car that's really that loose, you better put 4 on it until you get the chassis
Especially
fixed.
early, right?
Yeah. I didn't realize. I mean, you know, track position is one thing, but you have to have a car that's working to get track position with 2 tires.
I thought that Chad Knaus made a good move in working on his car early.
You want to find out what you got early, then work on it all day. Make it best for the closing laps. Kurt Busch up front, looking to get back to victory lane. He leads at Pocono on TNT.
Back at Pocono, Kevin Harvick, the first of the leaders to pit. He gives up the 8th position. A 4-tire change for Kevin. Car very, very loose. They made track bar and wedge adjustments. The 19 car of Jeremy Mayfield way, way back in the standings as a result of that 2-tire stop earlier. They will change 4 tires this time. You see them making a chassis adjustment as well on Jeremy's car and try to regain some of that valuable track position they lost on the last run. Bill?
Thank you, Dave. Well done down there. Joe Nemechek now on to pit road. The U.S. Army Chevrolet.
Gave up that 4th spot to come down, get him some tires, fuel, all the way down to Alan Bestwick.
And here comes Joe sliding into his pit stall. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment on this car. It'll be a 4-tire stop. Very smooth on the right side for the crew. They'll come around to the left and send him on his way with a full load of fuel. Nemechek having a very strong run so far, Matt.
And you can see as they're blowing the brake dust out of the left front how much brake Dale Jarrett's using here at Pocono. Now they're making a slight air pressure adjustment. The car was loose in the first run. They tried track position and it paid off, Marty. He hung in the top 10.
Matt, Jeff Burton just said, man, I need some more grip. I'm too tight off the corners, too loose getting in. They do a track bar and air pressure adjustment, trying to get that 31 to have a little more grip for Jeff Burton.
This is probably the greatest pit lane we have. Oh, it is. As far as, you know, room goes, and the boxes are big.
How about Indy?
How about Indy? It's just the other way around.
Yeah, exactly right.
Pit lane in Indy so narrow.
Yeah. About one of those lanes.
Jeff Gordon on the pit road with Ricky Rudd right behind him, Dave.
Not handling well off of any of the 3 corners. Their focus, the car wants to push toward the wall off of turn 3. They're going to make a wedge adjustment and air pressure for the 24 car. Gordon will take on 4 fresh tires. In front of him, also Casey Mears is on pit road, and they get caught by the caution, Bill.
Caution flag is out.
Haven't hurt a bunch of people.
And now you have to start wondering if somebody's might run out on pit road. It is Ford debris. Carl Edwards is on pit road. 4 tires stopped for Carl.
And he is a lap down. Jimmy Johnson will get caught by the caution flag. He's going to be a lap down.
The championship leader.
Man, tough break for these guys.
There's the debris that brought out the caution. Well, this will be very interesting how this unfolds. This is the 77 car of Travis Kvapil.
Left front tire just comes apart.
Yeah.
That's the first one of the day.
Yeah. And we saw this over 20 times in June. Left front tire issues.
He's got a lot of other issues, too, other than a flat tire.
That rubber on that tire is just beating that sheet metal to death.
For debris off the 77 car, trapped several strong cars on pit road, guys that had already pitted, trapped them a lap down.
I talked about it. They are in fact changing springs on the 8 car. It looks like they're going to get lapped though. Here comes a pace car off the corner. He is going to be lapped. Oh man, they thought they could do it here with
well, that's okay. He's got a couple guys he can get by for the lucky dog. He's in a better position now than all these other, because all these guys got to the tail end of the lead lap.
He's speeding down pit road. Let's see what they're going to say about that. He was speeding down pit road. He did beat the pace car, but it's a penalty into the longest line. He will remain in the lead lap if that's the case. They're going to hold him a lap for that. Okay. All right.
And he is currently...
Come back to pit road. They're going to hold us a lap.
That was good. Good try.
Yeah, good try.
Let's go inside the pit window. I want to show you something. I want to show you a hustle on the front carrier, Danny Earnhardt of the 15 car. If you'll watch when they pull the right front, freeze right here. Okay, just watch this guy right here. Okay, when they pull the right front off, that tire gets away. Now, he runs all the way over to get that wheel, catches it. He's running, he's catching it, gets it, pins it, makes sure he comes back, gets the other one, and gets it on the car on time.
Good hustle. And Michael Walter.
This is a great angle right here. He's still chasing it. He grabs the wheel just as the front tire changer pulls it off. That was a good job because he had to run a long way.
And you have to control those tires by NASCAR rules. You have to get them to the left-hand side next to the pit wall. How about the 8, Dave?
Well, unfortunately, plenty of time to finish their work now under the hood of that car because they will be held a lap here. They'll let the field go by. NASCAR will penalize them that lap for speeding down pit road. And what they're going to do also is they pulled a spring rubber out of the right rear. They put that in earlier. That was a change that Junior did not like, so they pulled that out as well during this stop. The official now waiting and holding him until he goes down that lap.
Wow, and Earnhardt already scored 2 laps down. Joe Nemechek is scored as the race leader.
Yeah.
But he's got a bunch of guys in front of him. Nemechek is about the 7th car in that line.
It's going to be interesting. These guys have got to run hard.
Edwards, Gordon, Kenseth, Johnson, Jeff Burton, Casey Mears, tail into the lead lap.
Wow, what a mess. Nemechek may be the leader, Alan, but he is in a mess.
Yeah, he's kind of in the soup, isn't he, BP?
He is.
I know there's got to be some people at home saying, okay, wait a minute, the 01 pitted, but the 48 pitted and the 99 pitted. How's the 01 not a lap down when those other guys are? Nemechek was close enough to the leaders that he could make his pit stop and get back out on the track without going a lap down. Those other guys were far enough back from the leader. They didn't have that kind of time. Remember I talked about them needing some luck earlier, BP? They might have just made some of their own.
And Alan, they were rewarded for running well there.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. They're close enough to the front that it helped them out, making some of their own good luck.
And he might need some luck to get through this mess.
Needs some help from his teammate right there.
Scott Riggs in the 10.
At green cars, Kevin LePage. The leader goes by him. Puts LePage a lap down now.
35 cars were scored on the lead lap.
There comes Kurt Busch. Trying to weave his way through all those cars. There he is, a 97 on the inside of 41. Followed closely by Mark Martin and Ryan Newman.
Busch in second, Martin is third. Newman. Vickers is back there as well. These are fast cars chasing fast cars right here.
Yeah, and it's Nemechek's best interest to repass these guys because they are fast cars, and you want to get them a lap down.
Right,
It's your competition.
Because if the caution comes out now, all those guys get a 2.5-mile reward. It would come around and be on.
And Nemechek's putting them down. Look, this Ricky Rudd going down. Jeff Burton going down. Now it's about all those guys fighting for the lucky dog spot.
Right.
Matt, what's going on with the 21? Because I thought they'd be a little bit better than that right now.
They were great before the caution came out. They were one of those cars that had pitted before the caution. Now he was a lap down. Came back in a top off, but they told Ricky, the car you are racing to try to stay on the lead lap is a 01. Now he's trying to fight to hang on to the lucky dog position.
Yeah, he's got to stay in the 01's bumper right now.
Well, that's going to be 97's bumper pretty soon because we've seen the 97 cars so far have appeared to be the class and skill. All of them Nemechek has been fast.
And the one thing about Nemechek is that he is not running in clean air, whereas Kurt Busch has been in clean air most of the day. Ryan Newman in the 12. Back there behind the 31, there's the 12 and the 25 of Vickers.
A 25 car, Brian Vickers, finished second here too. Carl Edwards just 6 weeks ago, so we knew that he would run well going into today's race.
And that 12-25 battle is for fourth. Ryan Newman saying hello to Jeff Burton in that 31 car. And they close up on Riggs in a hurry.
Here's where that inside line, though, I think is the strongest, but you've got Casey Mears. He's a lap down, right?
Yep.
He's in the middle of it, and we got 4 wide.
There we go. Rusty Wallace took advantage, goes on the inside of Vickers.
Oh, that was
Takes
close,
the spot away.
Rusty
It's not over.
Rusty, a 4-time winner here at Pocono. Vickers looking for his first ever NEXTEL Cup win.
That's the problem with Rusty now. You get down on the inside, and you got all the cars lined up on the outside. And believe me, the draft has a lot to do with getting down these straightaways.
Well, now he's going to try and draft off his teammate, Ryan Newman. Into turn 1. Burton on the outside. Looked like Newman might have gotten a little loose there.
5 car jumped up beside Newman.
Marty on Rusty Wallace.
Yeah, Bill, Rusty's car pretty good right now, but normally the first 2 runs today, it was not good in the early part of the run, but at the end of the run, Rusty was extremely fast. You see him trying to work under Vickers right there and trying to get his teammate Ryan Newman, but Rusty might let some cars go here, but he would catch them at the end of the run.
Hey, Marty, those guys were kind of subdued when we talked to them in the rig this morning, weren't they?
It was kind of strange, wasn't it? They were just like, you know, hey, we're here, we're having fun. We want a top 10 out of the day today, and that's all we really want. Battle for the lead up front.
Here comes Kurt Busch, that 97 car. He has position on the 0-1.
But Nemechek still the leader.
Oh, he couldn't pull it off. Nemechek.
And Jimmy Johnson, the championship leader, fighting to stay on the lead lap.
Fighting to stay on the track. Yeah, like Kurt Busch. Man, he's getting through those corners.
There's the pass for the lead. Busch to the front.
And Busch by the 48 car. Now, Alan, what are they talking about in the 48 pits?
Well, ever since the pit stop happened and they got caught, Chad Canals has just been talking to his driver, doing the usual thing those crew chiefs do. Beep, beep. Cheer them up, keep them in the game, and make sure they understand there's a lot of time to go in this race.
Matt, how about the leader?
Busch, just like he was in the run before, just out cruising. Now, his biggest issue is the tunnel turn as he works over the back of the 48. But this team really on a tear now, Bill. Back out front trying to get some of that clean air.
They would like that.
You know, we saw Jimmy Johnson, the 48 car in Chicagoland. That was one of the most impressive runs that I've seen all year long. Remember, he was a lap down, made it up, came back from the end of the pack to finish in 3rd spot.
Yeah, they better crank more on that 48. That 48 looks terrible right now.
And remember, that's a backup car. Johnson lost a car here in practice on Friday. His crew chief, Chad Knaus, was up till 3:15 a.m. Saturday morning thinking about what changes to make the car.
Now, Ricky Rudd is the 21 car. He needs to get by the 48 to become the lucky dog, and that would ruin Johnson's chances of getting back on the lead lap.
That 48 is just looks like it's awful on the bumps. When he hits a bump in one and it goes through 2, the car just jumps sideways.
And you saw the points as they run now. Tony Stewart just 12 out of the championship lead. And running 7th on the racetrack. Kurt Busch made his way around Joe Nemechek. He has been a dominant car here at Pocono. You're watching NASCAR live on TNT. We are under caution here at the Pocono Raceway. 70 laps complete. Caution for debris. Matt Kenseth, Kurt Busch's teammate, is the ballpark lucky dog. He gets the Lucky Dog award. He'll come around, be on the lead lap. A lot of guys got hurt, though. Harvick, Rudd, Johnson, Riggs, Wimmer, Mears, all trapped a lap down. The field heads to pit road. We head to Dave.
Michael Waltrip gives up 11th spot. 4-tire change for him. Wants to push toward the wall on the exit of the corner. Wedge and air pressure adjustment for Michael. Matt?
Solid stop. The previous stop on lap 51 for Kurt Busch says now you've got to fix the race car. No changes in the first stop. You've got to make a wedge adjustment to fix fix me up. He needs to be loose, Marty.
Rusty Wallace told the Miller Lite boys, hey, listen, I just need a smooth stop. I'm one adjustment away from having a car that can run up front. 1 pound out of the right rear, 1 pound in the right rear tire, just a little bit tight.
Trouble. Air pressure adjustment on the right rear for Joe Nemechek. Also a wedge adjustment, 4 tires, and out.
Boy, Rusty Wallace, they had a long time.
I don't think they had the jack up high enough.
They were still jacking the car up, trying to get the left rear tire off the ground. My guess is something like maybe the chain that pulls the left rear off the ground broke on the 2 car. And that will not fix itself. It'll be slow stops the rest of the day.
But Kurt Busch running well on the track, getting great pit stops on pit road. That helps him stay out front. Here are the guys getting the job done for the 97 team.
Jimmy Penning, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Mark Full, Parkersburg, West Virginia.
Scott Ward, Clear Lake, California.
Scott Radel, Massillon, Ohio.
Jason Menger, San Antonio, Texas.
Kevin Gilman, St. Johnsbury, Vermont.
Doug Newell, Oxnard, California.
Jim Gaudet, North Conway, New Hampshire.
Wayne Deloria, Biddeford, Maine, now Hickory, North Carolina.
But those 2 guys right there in the inside lane, Ricky Rudd and Jimmy Johnson, are going to be racing just as hard as anybody right now to be the first car 1 lap down.
So this could be fun to watch heading to turn 1, huh? Green flag is out. Here we go. Rudd right in behind Busch.
That was a good move. Put some cars in between him and Jimmy Johnson. He's got a little track position right now, a little breathing room.
Boy, does he ever, as all those cars on the outside line going by the 48 car of Jimmy Johnson. Joe. Oh, there we are, 3 wide. 10 car in the middle.
Can't do that, can you?
No, when you're in the middle, you just have to get out the throttle and try to get back either low or high. Don't want to go through turn 2 in the middle because you won't be there long.
You can go in there in the middle, but you may not come out. McMurray in the 42, the pole sitter. Front of Riggs. This is Kevin Harvick. Busch trying to pull away. Newman looking inside of Rudd, then falls back in line. You fall back to Jamie McMurray, Matt.
The pole sitter not having the day he had hoped for now when he pitted back on lap 71, Bill. They made a track bar adjustment running back in the 7th position. He says the car just way too tight, especially down in turn 1.
And as those guys have been struggling so much with finding the proper balance on this new Dodge Charger. They're always on one side. They're always either loose or tight. It's so difficult to be perfect.
And those are some of the guys that had difficulties testing in Indianapolis. They just couldn't get the car to do what they wanted to do.
As we watch this, Ryan Newman is doing the best job now. He's the 2nd place car, the first Dodge.
And Rusty Wallace has moved forward from 15th to 11th after losing those spots on pit road. There's the Blue Deuce. And Robbie Gordon, give him a call. Running 10th today.
Trying to go by Michael Waltrip for 9th, and he does. How about that, Robbie?
Marty.
Hey, Bill, Benny had talked to Benny and I
hang
talked
on, Michael.
Yeah, hang on, Michael Waltrip. Good point, Wally. Benny, remember we talked about under caution that they were a little concerned that the left rear chain may be broken on the 2 car. Well, the team is not positive that's not the case. So they're worried about that for future pit stops because the left front guy said on that pit stop, I had plenty of room, and the left rear guy did not. So there may be a chain broken on the 2 car, and then make their stop slow all day long. They won't know it, though, until they come down for their next stop.
And what's up with Tony Stewart? He just can't get by the 31 car because all of a sudden he seems to be cars going by the 20. And we haven't seen that for a month, have we?
No, we sure haven't. Tony might have gotten out of the gas there because Jeff Burton wiggled just a little bit. Michael Waltrip gets out of line. He's going to try the inside of Burton. The chain holds up, helps out hold up the axle back there.
Well, it hooks to the frame on the top and to the trailing arm on the bottom, and when you jack the car, it pulls the tire off the ground. Otherwise, it would extend until the shock is fully extended.
So when they come in next time, he's just going to have to keep pumping that jack until the left rear is off the ground. I'm not sure he got 2 full pumps on it that first time.
It could be that he didn't.
Something to watch for when Rusty pits next time. trip in the 15, running 12th. How about the 15, Dave?
They made just a slight adjustment for his car on the last stop. It wanted to push toward the wall, exiting the corners, and may have in fact done so on camera there just moments ago. They haven't said anything on the radio much since that incident, just 3 wide during it, which was part of the problem.
And that could have been the problem. Michael just got out of the throttle because he certainly seems like he lost a spot to Biffle on that last lap.
Rusty Wallace has made his way up to 12th. Kurt Busch continues to lead. Then it's Ryan Newman, Mark Martin, Brian Vickers, and Joe Nemechek. We will go through the field with you when we come back to Pocono. Kurt Busch has just completed his 82nd lap. He has a 3.5-second lead over Ryan Newman. Then it's Mark Martin, Joe Nemechek, and Brian Vickers. Let's take you through the field here at Pocono, starting with the 97. Here's Yoko.
1 race to go in New Hampshire. Kurt Busch made a huge climb in the championship standings, up 5 spots to 5th, looking to eat into Jimmy Johnson's lead even more now. He was fighting in aero-tight condition when he's mired back in traffic. Now he's out front, Alan. A 3.5-second lead over Ryan Newman.
Well, this will be where we tip our cap to the pit crew for Ryan Newman. They brought him down pit road last time, running in 5th position. Got him out 2nd with a 4-tire stop, trying to help him some with the handling in traffic. Matt?
Alan, Mark Martin still a little on the loose side. No changes in the last stop. He just needs to have what we're starting to experience now. A long green flag run, Alan.
Not much to report on Joe Nemechek's pit stop last time, continuing to be very pleased with the car. I talked to crew chief Brian Pemberton. He said, we're just riding, basically, everything's good. Brian Vickers has been working on his car since the start of the race to get the front end to grip better, to make it turn better in the corner. I just talked to the crew a second ago. They said it's gotten better every pit stop, and they're right now up to 5th place. Marty?
Alan, here in June, Kyle Busch started 38th and finished 4th, so starting 28th today should be no problem. Only complaint is he wants a little more straightaway speed. Last stop, they made no changes, trying different lines on the racetrack to see if there's one that might be faster than the previous lap. Matt?
Jamie McMurray just missed the chase last year. Feels like they still have a strong shot to make it in 2005. Runs in 7th. Now, this is one of his favorite race cars. They brought it here knowing they need some points. They finished 10th here in June, working on another top 10 run. Marty?
Bobby Labonte told me yesterday, you know what, I just want to finish this race. The last 2 Pocono races, been running in the top 15 with under 15 to go, and he was wrecked. So he wants to finish today very happy with the car. A 1/4 pound air pressure adjustment on the last stop, just a little bit tight. Robbie Gordon having a terrific run up to the 9th position after starting back in the field. He said he's having to wait on the back end of the car. It's just a little too loose, especially off of 3. He said that just kills my straightaway speed on that long front stretch. Matt?
Tony Stewart's been the hottest driver over the past 10 races, currently runs in the 10th position. Like much of this weekend, he's been battling a tight condition, especially when he tries to get in the gas, Marty, up off turn 3.
Rusty Wallace restarted 15th. He's up to the 11th position. He's a 4-time Pocono winner, so he knows his way to the front here. Didn't have much to say after that bad pit stop by the crew. Car just a little bit tight, 1/2 pound in the right rear tire on that last stop. Alan?
Greg Biffle started the race in the 7th position. He fell back as far as 16th. Around lap 66, he got the crew jumping up onto the wall with some tires in hand because he scrubbed the wall. Shortly afterward, they had this conversation.
Greg, right now your biggest problem is too tight. Yeah. Ever since I hit the wall, it quit turning. Roger said he repaired it pretty good, and there was some damage, so that's probably your tightness, though. Or, I'm not giving up, man. I'm going to let her eat. That's why we pay you the big bucks.
They also pay him the big bucks because he drives the wheels off that race car and wins races. And Greg Biffle trying to pick his way back to the front, Dave.
Michael Waltrip's last top 5 was 6 races ago. Right here, Michael staying in the top 15 right now. Minor adjustments on that last stop. Alan?
Okay, so Carl Edwards started last, drove his way up about halfway through the field, made a green flag pit stop, got caught by the caution, was on the tail end of the field, 2.5 miles behind the leader, raced his way out ahead of them, caught a caution, came back around. Now he's got a pretty good race car, and he's picking his way up through the field. He was 17th a minute ago. He's 14th now, Marty.
Alan, for much of this race, Casey Kane's been trying to recover from that flat right rear tire on the first run. At one point, he was back in 40th. He said it feels like the left rear is driving the car, which means it's just way too tight off the corners for Casey. on the 9 car. Elliott Sadler trying to recover from his 100-point loss last weekend after the wreck in New Hampshire. Said the car just rolls too tight through the center of the corner, lacks side bite, but he said the last 2 adjustments have really helped. Dave?
The King's car, driven by Jeff Green, responds well to traffic. That according to the driver. That's why they like to race it here. It's done well so far. Started 26th, running 18th right now. Marty?
Dave, it's been a very solid day for Jason Leffler in the 11 car. A little bit tight. They had a half pound in both right side tires last time, trying to loosen up the 11 car. It's a car they borrowed from the 20 team. Last time it was on the racetrack, Tony Stewart finished 5th with it. Dave?
Bill Weber mentioned how hard Jeff Gordon had raced to get back on the lead lap. Now that they did that, they made some major adjustments because the car still wanted to spin out, coming off of turns number 2 and turns number 3. Matty?
Dale Jarrett entered Pocono 10th in the championship standings, 2 spots better than he was last year at this point. DJ running in 20th now. He was battling a tight race car. They adjusted with air pressure on the last stop back on lap 71. Just mired back in traffic. Dave?
Matt Kent said it was a lucky dog on the last stop. They put a spring rubber in the right rear because that car actually was in the left rear because the car was so loose. Matt said I could hardly hang on to it. Alan?
And an update on the championship leader, Jimmy Johnson, who finds himself back in 30th place. Last pit stop, crew chief Chad Knaus decided not to make any time-consuming adjustments. Adjustments that were going to require the wrenches to be put into the car because they had a chance to get off pit road first and position themselves for that lucky dog spot. Unfortunately, Ricky Rudd got out ahead of them and has pulled away from them. Chad says we need to work on this race car, but we've still got time.
Thanks, guys. We took you 21 deep. Ken Schrader is 22nd, followed by Sterling Marlin, Bobby Hamilton Jr., Mike Bliss, Dave Blaney, Mike Wallace, and Kyle Petty is the last car on the lead lap. They are all chasing Kurt Busch. 88 laps complete here at Pocono, approaching the halfway mark. Can Busch get back to victory lane? We'll keep watching on TNT. Still under green on a beautiful day in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Kurt Busch continues to lead. Enter the NEXTEL Race to the Chase sweepstakes fueled by Sunoco. You could win $250,000 and a tanker of Sunoco fuel. Race to Sunoco or NEXTEL for details.
And that's right, folks. He said tanker, not a tank. A lot of gasoline. And 250 grand.
Yep, this guy's just about out of gasoline. We could be approaching green flag pit stops here. 105 laps complete. Kurt Busch continues to lead by 9.5 seconds.
And I tell you, this is one place you definitely do not want to run out of gasoline. You come off this turn 3, if you run out of gas about right there and unable to get to pit road, you'll never make it back. You can't coach that far.
Might be careful about speeding too right now, especially if these guys all pit under green.
And remember what happened last time they started pitting under green. The caution came out.
Because several of those cars 1 lap down.
Yep.
Among those, Jimmy Johnson, who still is back in 30th position 1 lap down.
Ryan Newman runs 2nd. There's Michael Waldrop. He's made his way to 8th.
He passed Tony Stewart.
Yep.
Now, you know he's fast when he passes Tony Stewart.
And right behind those two, Carl Edwards is on the move, too. He got around Rusty Wallace.
And Kyle Busch. Carl told me, the 99 driver told me Friday that he felt like the car was extremely fast. The only thing he was concerned about starting in the rear, and that obviously because of going to Colorado running the Busch race yesterday, he had to start at the rear of the field today.
And that wasn't a pleasant experience.
No, that was a long trip for nothing.
Got him some points, got out of Dodge.
Very few points, not enough points.
That's right. Waldrop looking back at Tony Stewart. He's won 3 of the last 4. Tony has. And Joe Nemechek, the first of the leaders to hit pit road. He gives up 5th place to head for Alan Bestwick.
Yeah, kind of interesting that one of the leaders would be the first one to make the move to pit road, but I think we're going to see an awful lot of guys heading in here fairly soon. Joe reported he was starting to slide the front tires a little bit, so they're going to make an adjustment to try and help him with that. It'll be a 4-tire change for Joe Nemechek.
A lot of conversation in the 20 pit about what adjustments to make for Tony Stewart as they're all around to the left side of the car. Air pressure adjustment to try to free up the race car, get more grip in the front so it turns. He can get back in the gas quicker. He's away.
Marty?
Well, Casey Kane brings his number 9 car down pit road Bill, and the car has just been extremely tight. He wanted a fresh water bottle, wants a tear off the windshield, and 2 rounds up on the track bar. Also, wedge adjustment for the 9 car, extremely tight. And again, they're still trying to recover from that flat right rear earlier, and the adjustments they made off of that, Matt.
Mark Martin giving up third, hitting pit road. Says the car starts off loose, but then tightens up exactly where he likes it. He says, I like what we did last time. Let's not make any adjustments on this stop. Around to the left side of the car for Martin, and he is away. Meanwhile, the 42, Jimmy McMurray in, had been running just inside the top 10. He said, I like what we did last time, so give it to me again. The last time they gave him a track bar adjustment and air pressure. The 97 of Busch, his team up on the wall, waiting for him to hit his pit box. Alan?
And Greg Biffle has slid into his pit stall. Biffle going to give up a spot just outside of the elite cars. They're going to make a 4-tire change. Also go for an adjustment. That looked like it was on the wedge bolt, and try and send him back out. They've been trying to help this car turn a little better, Matt.
Now Kurt Busch had to go around the 88 of Dale Jarrett, close going over the line as pissed off, but he gets a thumbs up by the NASCAR official. Chassis adjustment. They want to make a slight adjustment for this stop, so that way they are better for their final stop. Oh, a luck comes off the left front. They had to pick it up and put it on. Loses a little bit of time here. Wardy on pit road. Allen.
And Brian Vickers has brought his car onto pit road. Got to make an air pressure adjustment to help that. 4-tire change for Brian Vickers, who's run very solidly in the top 10 the entire race.
15 car of Michael Waltrip leaves pit road. His car was a little loose. They made a track bar adjustment. Jeff Gordon is on pit road as well. His car was also loose. They will make air pressure adjustments for Jeff. Give him a 4-tire stop. 99 car of Carl Edwards on pit lane as well. At this time, Carl Edwards making another pit stop and getting him back and off on pit road.
Rusty Wallace will follow him out. Jeff Gordon off of pit road. Alan, how about Ryan Newman?
Yeah, here he comes, Bill. They have fought the front end of this car for the, the back end of this car for the last segment of the race. Ryan experiencing a loose condition, the back end wanting to spin around on him when he turns the wheel to the left. They're going to make a track bar adjustment here and a 4-tire change to try and help out the second place car. Jimmy Johnson on pit road. Oh boy, what a day they've had so far. Got trapped by that caution flag that came out just after they made a green flag pit stop. Took a chance not making any adjustments. Last pit stop to see if they could get the lucky dog. Now they're in for a 4-tire change and trying to help the handling of that car. They haven't given up, but they got a hole to dig out of.
And Ryan Newman is able to stay out and run an extra lap and lead this race. Got credit and 5 bonus points.
And Matt Kenseth trying to do the same thing. In the middle of green flag stops here. There's the 12 of Newman. There's Kenseth.
He's going to head towards pit road.
And Matt brings his car to Robbie Reiser and company, Dave.
All day long, Matt Kenseth has been fighting that race car that wants to spin out. You see the wrench going in the rear window. They will make a chassis adjustment for Matt and send him back on his way. The crew now going to the left side, trying to get him off within 14 or 15 seconds. And it's a pretty good stop for Kenseth.
So Matt heads back out on the racetrack. It cycles around, and Kurt Busch recaptures the lead. He has led 100 of the 111 laps completed so far today, scheduled 200 here at Pocono. He has a good race car. Slid through his pit stop last week, or his pit stall rather, almost did it again. Then had a lug nut issue, but that car continues to lead. Whoa! Still in the green here at Pocono. Kurt Busch continues to lead. Ricky Rudd, the first car lap down, charging.
He's going to get him. Going to get him.
And earn his way back onto the lead lap.
Yellow's out. Yellow's out.
Going to get it anyway.
Because Ricky Rudd will be the lucky dog.
Yes, he will. And man, did he earn it. Caution for debris.
They're going to see him in a while. It may be 25 or 30 laps, but they're going to see him up front.
That's Rick Monroe. I didn't realize he was a flagman. Good job, Rick.
Working with Rodney Wise this season. We'll come back for pit stops here at Pocono. Under caution with 119 in the books. Kurt Busch continues to lead. Back for the pit stops in a moment.
Pit stops underway at Pocono. Michael Waltrip skidded over his line. They had to push him back to even miss pit stop. Matt.
Trouble on the left rear of Kurt Busch. He lost time. Did not get the lug to tight track bar adjustment. Marty.
Matt, quick stop for Rusty Wallace. 2 tires, no changes, and he's already gone. Alan?
Oh, big problems on Joe Nemechek's stop. The car fell off the jack on the left side. It's going to cost him some ground, and probably a lot of it.
Did anybody have a good stop?
No, it doesn't look well. Looks like maybe Rusty Wallace changing right sides. Greg Biffle looks like they changed 2 tires trying to get some track position.
That's curious, taken 2. Marty?
Hey, and Bill, real quick, why Rusty Wallace changed 2 tires? The car was handling perfectly, but the left rear chain, which pulls up that left rear tire, is indeed broken. So if they would have changed 4 tires, it would have been a long stop. Rusty said just 2 is fine with me.
So the question is, the time they gained on pit road, will they lose it on the racetrack? We'll sort out how they came off the pit road, reset the field, go back to green flag racing. Under caution at Pocono Raceway in Long Pond, Pennsylvania, 122 laps complete. Greg Biffle is the race leader, came in 11th, went out first, a 2-tire stop. 2 tires for Rusty Wallace. He came out second after coming in 10th. And Kyle Busch came in 12th. He went out third. BP.
The 97 Kurt Busch makes a pit stop. Right sides, okay. They come around the left. The jack goes up. Everything is fine. But the rear guys just having all kind of trouble. Looks like lug nuts have fallen off the left rear, and the tire changer is so upset.
Here's Michael Waltrip.
Yeah, he just came in. He just overshot his bid. He locked him up, slid forward. The official says, guys, got to go back. He actually puts it in first, then gets it back. Now, they were going to change 4, but because of all this, they decided just to take 2.
So they go to work on that car. And late word from pit road is that the plan was now for this car just to take 2 tires the whole time. They had discussed 4 and ended up taking 2. And basically they forced their hand. Here's Nemechek.
We showed you a pit stop last week of the 48 car on the left side. Right side's good stop on Nemechek. They come around the left side. Jackman, everything looks okay. The jack goes up. Watch the front tire. Stop it. Did you see this tire roll out and hit the jack and release the handle? Down goes the car. We showed you last week that the jackman had the handle turned to the right. The tire hit it, but it didn't release the jack as this one did.
Because he blocks it. Some guys want to block that.
Some guys actually use their leg to block the tire.
Matt.
BP, you were correct. There were issues on the left rear of the 97 stop, but if you play the video back again, you'll see changer Kevin Gilman waving frantically back to Jackman Scott Radel to hit it one more time. One more pump to raise the car up. That's what he did, and then they were able to get that wheel on and hit those lugs.
Under caution here at Pocono, Greg Biffle is the race leader. Biffle, Wallace, Kurt Busch, Mark Martin, and Brian Vickers. Biffle, Wallace, and Busch with 2 tires, Martin with 4.
Wow.
The fight for the lucky dog.
That's right. Sterling Marlin said, I want to be that dog. Let me buy that 49 car.
Watch it, Mark.
Martin high in the 6.
Cool shot.
Now heading for the rugged tunnel turn here at Pocono. Jr. is 36th. 2 laps down.
Uh-oh, that's trouble. Wise with the 41 car. Casey Mears backed off the throttle. Let Michael Walker go on the outside. Keeps him from being 3 wide.
Earnhardt still 3 laps down.
Tony Stewart inside of Ryan Newman. Chasing Kurt Busch.
They're going to try to squeeze on the outside. I think he's got enough there.
Man, oh man, there's no wonder these guys changed 2 tires. That is a mess that these guys.
Back there.
Yeah, they changed 4 tires and they're in a genuine mess. Big time.
Look at that. Guys are really bouncing through there.
They've done a good job today, though.
Yep. Yeah. We're very impressed that we haven't seen more trouble than we saw more trouble in practice on Friday than we did racing today.
I can tell you that Jeff Burton spent a number of laps on pit road. He is now 12 laps down. Scored in 39th.
Tony Stewart goes by. Elliott Sadler takes over spot.
Sadler took just 2 tires on that last stop.
There's Kurt Busch. The 97 car just went out of the picture. See Rusty Wallace's 2 car trying to get by Biffle.
Both those guys took 2 tires, Alan.
Yeah, I just talked with his crew chief, Doug Richard, Greg Biffle's crew chief, Bill. I said, what's your thinking? He said, well, first, 5 bonus points in the championship. Yep, got that done. Second thinking was, he said, we're struggling. We're just trying to survive. Let's get a little track position, see what happens. Didn't have a whole lot of laps on those left side tires before that next caution, that last caution came out. Marty.
Alan, under the caution, Rusty Wallace told his guys, you guys better figure out how we're going to change 4 tires under the next caution, because, you know, Rusty's not a big fan of taking 2 tires. He'll probably let Biffle be up front here for a while. His car very good on the long run. So as this plays out, this may play into Rusty's hand as long as these 2 tires hold on. And he said, you know what, I may lose some positions here, but we'll be better off than we would have if we'd have changed 4. Matt?
Mark Martin just jumps up into 3rd. Now, fuel mileage could be the story of the day if we go green to the finish. Now, Pat Tryson told Mark, run hard, run hard. We are good to go on 1 more stop. Meanwhile, the 97 of Busch, who's dominated the race, Marty, they are 4 to 6 laps shy of making that 1 more stop.
Just talked to Alan Gustafson, the crew chief for Kyle Busch. He said, we had a great car. It's so hard to pass here. That's why we decided to take 2 tires. We won't stay up here for as long as we could, but I just want to take this to get a little position right now. Caution on the racetrack.
Caution is out for debris. Caution for debris. Kevin Harvick will be the lucky dog. And I'm telling you, who wants 5 bonus points is Rusty Wallace. Green flag.
I'd like to get that right now.
Yes.
And not wait for a caution.
Ball's in behind Wallace.
Wow, look at Mark Martin up on the high side.
Did you see that run of Mark Martin good on the high side off turn 1? Wow. Tell you what, these guys Mark Martin might be hard to handle when it comes to winning this race this afternoon, because Kurt Busch has to go by several cars to get to Mark Martin.
Across the tunnel turn. Again, Biffle and Wallace on 2 tires. Mark has 4. Johnson is a lap down. And currently, Greg Biffle is the championship leader as they run right now. Johnson back to 2nd to Matt.
Bill, Jimmy Finnick even says with those caution laps, they are still short on making it on 1 more stop for fuel.
Man.
What did Biffle say on the radio? Let her eat.
He said, oh, let her eat. And he is now. This is the best the car is going to be. He has clean air.
You want to talk about 2 tires or 4?
Well, you know, it's hard to decide what's best. I mean, I think 4 is going to obviously better. These guys are back in traffic, and the guys that took 2, you know, are up in clean air. But let's just see what happens when this shakes out.
Tony in the 20 pushing the 97 of Kurt Busch.
Kurt Busch clears these guys and gets in some clean air himself.
Oh, here we go. Fast. Tony Stewart gets a terrific run off the tunnel corner. Got Kurt 3 wide. Kurt backs up.
Busch got trapped behind the 41 of Mears.
Yeah, he had to jump out of the throttle, and that's why Tony Stewart had such a good run.
A great move by Tony Stewart.
I think he's going to be able to hang on to it for very long.
And Vickers on the 25 car. He's got a run on Kurt Busch. Man, all of a sudden, it looks like Superman is not invincible.
Busch has had an outstanding car, Kurt Busch has today. Here's Mark Martin under Rusty Wallace for 2nd. 6, the four-time winner here. Mark has never won at Pocono in what may or may not be his final season in that car.
But as we told you earlier, Mark Martin, the 6 car, has finished second 6 times. As a matter of fact, Jack Rouse, the owner of the 6 car, the 16, 99, 97, also the 17, had never won at Pocono until June when Carl Edwards pulled off the victory.
But winning here at Pocono would mean a lot to Mark. As Benny said, 6 second-place finishes, but never the big one.
We run really good here, but we've never dominated this race. On the other hand, at Martinsville, I run bad there a lot and have won twice. So that should sum it up. I mean, we come here and run good all the time, but never have had, you know, the kind of break that would put us in victory lane. At Martinsville, we've won twice with a mediocre car. So that's just how racing is. I mean, it plays out that way. And, you know, if I had 20 more years in me, I'd probably get a win here.
He might only need about 64 more laps to get a win here. He's coming, chasing down Biffle.
Sarah Polster to the 42 car. Jamie McMurray is back in the, what, 9th position?
Yep, Newman is 8.
Wow. Busy back here.
Yeah, you take 4, that's where you are.
That's why you didn't want to make a pit stop or change 4 tires. You did not want to be back in there with Carl Edwards at 99 and Ricky Rudd 21.
But I'll tell you, Michael Waltrip is on the move because he was one of the 3 lead lap cars that stopped under that most recent caution, and now he's moved up to 17th, and he's doing it in traffic. Behind Robbie Gordon.
Oh, hand signal there. I don't think it was a nice one.
Are there nice ones?
Yeah, there's a couple nice ones, but
Kurt Busch easily under Brian Vickers.
We saw Vickers pass him on the front stretch just a moment ago. We saw Tony Stewart get by 97.
I really think Kurt just got bottled up there coming off of 2 and lost his momentum in 3, and he's just gathering it back up.
You have to get your rhythm back, right?
Yeah.
And it's not something you do in an instant.
No, he's got it back.
So Kurt Busch trying to march his way back to the front, chasing a couple of teammates, Greg Biffle and Mark Martin up front at Pocono. We're under caution here at Pocono. Contact between the 42 of Jamie McMurray and the 12 of Ryan Newman. We will show you that. Mark Martin has gotten around Greg Biffle and has scored as the race leader. Now let's go back and show you what happened.
If you watch the 12 car, he cuts a right front tire. He gets out of the gas. He's just trying to save the car. McMurray just closed on him real fast. Tried to miss him. He got in the back of him.
He knocked a huge hole in the right front fender on the 42 car, and we see the right front tire flat on Newman's car.
So McMurray is on pit road now, and Newman is moving down pit road. Here's the pass for the lead.
Now this is going off about exactly the same time as that incident back in turn 3 between the 42 and 12.
And you have to wonder about if that's a teammate pass there. Greg Biffle allowing Mark Martin by to get the 5 bonus points.
Is that the first time he's led?
Yes. Mark Martin will bring them back to the green flag. Mark Martin, Kurt Busch, Joe Nemechek, Michael Waltrip, Casey Kane, and Mike Bliss. The top 6 did not stop under this caution. Tony Stewart is 7th. He took